Good afternoon and welcome to the shop. Just a quick 5-minute update. So first off, update number one, I fixed my brother's 69 Fairlane Cobra, Super Cobra jet. And the way I was able to do that is I couldn't get the bracket out that houses where the clutch and brake pedals pivot, right? There's a pivot and there's a couple of bushings. Well, the bushing on the clutch side burns out. Now, they all burn out, just the way they're designed. Now, since I couldn't get that bracket out, it was difficult to try to figure out how we're going to fix it. So what we ended up doing is going with a 8-inch thick steel plate. And this 8-inch steel plate, what we did is we cut a hole in it that's the exact diameter of the bushing. So what we did is take all the pedals and everything out. When you buy a bushing kit, what comes with it is a spare shaft. And the reason they do that is because sometimes that shaft will get burned out as well. So in our case, the shaft is in great shape. We don't have to do anything about it. So I had that spare shaft and I did exactly like you would with a tool for putting in a new clutch, right? Where you put that the tool in to keep everything aligned. Same thing. So I put this plate up against the side. I put the bushings in. I put the spare shaft I had between the two bushings. I moved this plate around until it swung that bushing or the shaft easily. So all was aligned. I clamped this. And then I bolted this. I put in 3 big bolts to hold this up against the side of the bracket. I got some really good steel in there. So this isn't going to move anywhere. The bushings go in from the inside. The brake pedal comes up and then you slide the shaft in, which is connected to the clutch. So that means the bushings are being held out anyways by this, held out by the pivot on the brake pedal. And that way there, it fixed the whole thing. So it's running beautifully. You put the clutch in. There's a little bit of a waver, but I guess that's just play now. And but it's way better than it was before. When you used to press that clutch in, it used to clunk sideways because it would snap out of the bushing and move down the end of the bushing. And then, of course, the brake pedal would go with it because the brake pedal is also on that same shaft. So, of course, you put the clutch in, the brake was moving. You know, you don't want your brake and clutch pedals moving around. So if you can't get that bracket out, if you can't repair that bushing the way you would like, keep this in mind. This is an option for you. So that's one thing. Now, as far as the car, it is 100% paint-free. Now, that was a lot of work. The hood I've done the inside of the hood, so the hood is now clear of paint. I haven't done the top of the hood yet, so that's still got to do. We've also got the doors and the trunk not sanded yet, so there's still some work to do there. But I just got tired of sanding, so I actually did a little bit of body work. Again, as I mentioned before, if you start getting tired of doing something, stop doing it, because if you keep doing it, what'll end up happening, you'll get frustrated and you'll take shortcuts and then you'll get mad at yourself later. So I got tired of sanding, did a little body work here. And what I'm going to do now this couple of next days is just get rid of more of the paint on this car. The good news is that once we start getting into some nicer weather where I can start to open the place up and clean it all out, we're going to put on a couple of coats of 2K. And once we put the 2K on this thing, we can start blocking. Once we start blocking, we can identify all of the flat spots. And that was the problem when I was using the DA. It ends up creating a couple of spots here and there because the DA does bump and then you get a flat spot. We're going to fix all of that. But once that's done, all fixed, we can look at painting. Now, painting, I need a couple of days of consistent weather, right? Because your hardener with inside of the paint has to be matched to the temperatures, like 60, 70, 80 degree temperatures, as far as how quickly it sets. So we have to make sure we have some consistent weather. That may not happen until May, June. We don't know. I can spray 2K almost any time because who cares about 2K if it doesn't, flatten out, because we're just going to sand it anyways. But that'll be the next step. So the next time you see me, I'm going to be donning my respirator and we're going to put a couple of coats of paint on this thing and then we're going to start blocking it out. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the short video. If you did, hit that like button and I'll see you next time.